Hi guys, I'm just sit back on the sofa a bit. There we go. So, what to tell you? It's been a bit of an odd day because I think you'll have heard me moan on and off about having problems with my camera. Anyway, I bought some more memory and I couldn't film anything today apart from those two little bits of the cats until my SD card arrived. So it's now 6 o'clock. I'm currently in the dining room. I'm feeding the cats, and this has been my first opportunity to do any filming today. So yeah, it's been sort of an interesting day. Went out with some friends earlier on this morning. Was helping a friend with she's knitting a cardigan for one of her daughters, and she needed a bit of a help doing the armhole. So we talked about that. I really like being able to help people with their projects. I love seeing people develop their skills and, you know, become better knitters. I feel it a great source of pride. I love teaching people how to knit and how to crochet. I've done that a few times over the years, and to me there's nothing better than seeing somebody who didn't know one end of a knitting needle or one end of a crochet hook from another, or couldn't read a pattern or anything, and then they, within no time at all, within like 2 or 3 months, they're producing the most beautiful work. And in some cases they're much more proficient and much better knitters than I am. One of my kids I taught to knit, and they are so much better than I am. Their tension is just beautiful. I'm like, how do you get such good tension? And yet I taught them, so you'd think I'd be able to do it, but anyway, who knows? Vagaries of fabric and, you know, textile art, and I don't know. Textile gods are obviously just not with me sometimes, I think. Anyway, I got kind of distracted there. So yeah, so that's what I did this morning then. I showed this friend how to do her knitting, how to sew up her knitting garment effectively. Last night I finished my, I'm just trying to untangle it from my next project. I finished my blanket. I finished it last night at about midnight, and I'm really pleased with it. It's come out really nicely. So this is the blanket, a finished piece, to give you an idea. So that's the top end, the sort of the paler one. It's not completely pale, I sort of mixed them in a little bit as I went along. And then it sort of segues into the purpley coloured ones. Doesn't segue quite as much as I'd hoped, but you know, I'm quite pleased with that. I'm quite pleased with the way it's come out. So you can have it, you could have it the blue, you know, fold it in half and have the blue bit out, or have the purpley bit out. And I'm really pleased with the colour. So this edging that I used, as I said, is Stylecraft Special DK, and I used Storm Blue. I'm just going to show you so you can see with the edging. I did 3 rows of granny stitch. It's that triple stitch that you use. And when I'm going in between the squares, I don't put the stitches into the corners. I just put one lot across the join there, and then that makes a beautifully even border. Took me years to work that out. I had wiggly borders, or I'd have them stretched and puckered and everything, but got there eventually. So yeah, so when I finished that last night, I put it in the washing machine, and lots of fabric conditioner, and I got it out this morning, and it is so lovely. I'm really pleased with it. It's got a really lovely drape to it now. Some of the yarns that I used, I know this one was, for example, and this one. Sorry, hold them a bit. That one and that one, and a few of the other ones as well are. They were yarns that they were the little balls that you get with the for free with the magazines, and they were really. They were some of them were quite stiff and quite scratchy as well. So I didn't have high hopes for them, and that was part of the reason why I thought, well, I'll just use them in this blanket, and then, you know, it's not something you're going to have next to your skin. It's not. I wasn't going to put them in a scarf or a hat or something like that, or a pair of mittens. And once I washed them, they came up really soft. They were lovely. They've come up really nice. So that was quite encouraging actually, because I've got a few more of those balls. They were in that big pillow bag that I showed you in one of my previous episodes. I think that was during one of my vlogs, one of my previous podcasts, and I showed you that bag, that huge bag which I'd had full of yarn, which is now only about 1/3 full. So I'm really quite impressed, and I've actually got down to dregs of colours now, so I'm starting to mix in with other things I've had in my stash as well. So in fact, one of the squares, oh no, not one of the squares, but this one here is a mix of one of the balls that was in that bag and another 4-ply yarn that somebody else had given me. So I sort of blended them together to make that square. So yeah, so that's my finished project. So I'm quite happy with that. So I've just started another project now this afternoon, and this is a knit project, and it doesn't look like much at the moment, does it? That's actually a leg and the bottom of a foot, believe it or not. So I'm just in the process of doing that. I'm making this toy, but I'm doing it in beige, and this is for a friend of mine who's asked me if I would make this. So fairly straightforward pattern. I'm using DK yarn, and I'm using 3mm needles, which is a whole mil smaller than you would usually use to knit DK yarn. But if you're making toys, you want to have it really tight so that the stuffing doesn't show through. So and you would do the same with crochet as well. So if you're used to crocheting DK yarn with a 4mm hook, if you're making toys, then you should go down a whole size and go down to a 3mm hook. So that usually works pretty well. So this afternoon, when I got home, I had my smoothie, and I thought, oh, you know the other day I bought an orange twirl. Well, I also bought a wispa, and I thought, do you know, I really fancy having that wispa now. And I thought, oh, I'll just go and get it. And I opened. So when I come home, I knew that if I left it lying around, I'd just eat it straight away. Even if I didn't feel like it, even if I felt sick, I would just eat it. I am no self-control when it comes to chocolates at all. Dreadful. I really am dreadful. So I went to the drawer to get it, and it wasn't there. And I thought that's a bit odd. And you might have seen behind me sometimes when I'm doing my filming from the other end of this room where the curtains are, and next to me is like a tall boy unit, and it has about 20 little drawers in. So I went through all the drawers looking for this wispa. I couldn't find it anywhere. I started looking through all my bags, trying to remember where I was when I bought it. I wondered if I'd left it in the car. I went out to the car. I looked everywhere in the kitchen. When the 2 lads came home from school and from college, I said, either of you seen a wispa? And neither of them had seen it. I was flummoxed, and I literally spent most of the afternoon partly knitting on my new project, but every so often I go, oh, maybe it's in such and such, and I dash off and go and see if I could find it in this particular cupboard or this particular drawer. Honestly, I swear I've been all over this house this afternoon. So anyway, I got so fed up with myself getting up and down and up and down. And the other thing I thought was, I hadn't done anything off my list that I wrote the other day. So I thought I really need to get on with that. So I thought, rather than focusing on this damn bar of chocolate, I should do something useful and productive with my energy, since I have some. And I decided that I was going to do my touch-up paint. So I am so pleased about this. I have touched up in the porch, in the living room, and there's 2 different colours in there, and I've touched up both of those, including right up at the ceiling where I pin up the strings that I hang the Christmas cards from at Christmas, and it had made a little hole in the top. So I've got right up and painted the top. And then I've done, what have I said so far? I've done the porch, I've done both colours in the living room, and I've done the hall. And there was masses to do in the hall, because you know what it's like when the kids come around the corner and they're going up the stairs, and you've got handprints going up all up the stairs. Oh, it's horrible. It was a real mess. It's been really bugging me for ages. Plus there was a couple of bits where the plaster had come loose, and I'd replastered them, but it wasn't, I hadn't actually painted the plaster, so that is now all done. So I am feeling pretty proud of myself, and if I could be bothered to get up, I would go and get my list and I would tick off touch-up paper, but I can't be bothered just now. I am going to have to get up in a minute though, because I fed Lily and Luna, the two white cats, and they they get fed in here in the dining room, but I have to shut the door when I'm feeding them, because Bailey otherwise he's a bit of a bully, you know. He'll push them out of the way to get their food, and he really loves wet cat food, and for the most part I just give him dry cat food. I do give him wet food in the morning, but the girls, the two white ones, Lily and Luna, they get wet food for morning and evening. So I have to shut him out. So consequently, at the moment I've got Lily, Luna and Bear in here, and they're all on different dining chairs now, just sitting there. They were, I think Luna was having a little scratch at the door, so they will need to go out in a few minutes, but I think they're all right for now. So yeah, so that's been my afternoon. Oh, what I didn't tell you, of course, was I eventually found the wispa, and it was in my bag of sock knitting. So I obviously thought that next time I got my sock knitting out, I might be grateful to find it. But I've eaten it now, so that's that gone. It lasted all of about 20 seconds, and I was busy doing something else at the time, and I don't think I really enjoyed it properly. I'm my own worst enemy, really, aren't I? Yeah, so that's that really. The other thing I was going to tell you was, so I don't really watch TV very much. There's lots of reasons for that, but I just got sick of it, I think. When I was with my husband, he used to watch TV constantly, all day, every day, and I got fed up of it, and I tended to associate watching TV with being with him. So for many years, I just didn't get any enjoyment out of it. But what I've recently discovered though, because I do feel like I miss out on a lot. You know, people say, "Oh, have you seen this? Have you seen that? Oh, you must watch that." And I'm like, you know, I don't know. I do watch with my partner sometimes. Actually, we like to watch programs. We're watching the Canal Boat series of a guy who lives on a canal boat and travels all the way up and down the canals of England. Well, maybe Wales as well, I'm not sure. He's journeying around and stuff, and he lives on this canal boat, which is quite a nice, gentle program. It's quite fun to watch. And we watched the first series of Killing Eve together, and that was really good. I enjoyed that. But I don't tend to sort of sit and watch on my own. I don't know, it kind of feels a bit like drinking on my own. It's just kind of, I don't really like it. I don't really enjoy it. But anyway, I found a way now that I can watch TV in a way that I enjoy, but that doesn't make me feel depressed. So I watch programs that have been put on YouTube on my phone, which, I mean, my partner thinks I'm bonkers, because he's just like, that's really not a great viewing experience. I was like, I know, but I just sort of set it up on my phone. I have one of those phone cases that holds my phone up, and then I'm just doing my knitting, and I sit at the dining table and I do my knitting, and I've got it there, and I can just pause it and disappear off and do other things if I need to and come back, and that seems to to work quite well actually for me. So I feel much more comfortable with that. I think I'm just weird, to be honest. I suppose we're all weird in our own ways, aren't we, really? So yeah, I feel a lot more relaxed now. I've got my memory thing sorted out. I was getting a bit stressed before, worrying that every time that my phone was going to switch itself off. So it's probably why I'm a bit more animated today. But yeah, so that's right. I was going to tell you what program I'd found that I really liked. So I've been watching. Now let me get the title right. Obsessive Compulsive Cleaners. I think that's what it's called. And I think it's done by, maybe somebody else will tell me this. I think it's done by the same team that used to do How Clean Is Your House, because I'm sure the voiceover guy is the same, and I'm sure the music is not, it's not the same, but I think it's very similar. And I really enjoy it because I enjoy, so I sort of feel a bit judgy watching it, but I'm not judging the people with the dirty houses. I'm judging the obsessive cleaners because I find them all a bit ridiculous. I think some of them would, well, but they'd all come into my house and be horrified because, as you can see from my background, I'm not particularly tidy. I think my house looks lived in. One of my friends says, "Your house is so colourful." And I'm like, well, yes, colourful, yes. Messy, yes, I think so. Lived in. Lived in is, I think, the look I'm going for. I wouldn't like to live in a house that looked like a show home, I don't think. I think it needs to have a bit of personality. But anyway, that's what I've been enjoying while I've been doing my knitting. So I need to go make some tea in a minute. I'm not sure what I'm going to make. Need to let the cats out, don't I? Need to let you out. Are you going to come and have a cuddle for a minute? Lily and Luna aren't really cuddly cats. I showed you Lily on my bed this morning. That's about as cuddly as she gets. She'll stay just out of arm's reach. If I try and reach forward on the bed and give her a pat or a stroke, then she's not interested. Are you? I quite like an aloof cat. They're quite grumpy. Bailey's a very grumpy looking cat. Although actually he's more affectionate than any of the others. Bear likes to go off and do his own thing. He's a bit like a teenage boy. Well, he is kind of a teenage boy really when it comes to cats. He's just about 3. Lily and Luna are 2. Bailey is my old boy. He's 13, nearly 14. Bless him. We didn't get him till he was 10. He was a rescue. He was he lived with an old couple, and when the old lady died, the old man didn't want him, so sent him to a rescue centre. And before he came to us, he had 3 failed adoptions. Poor thing. So he was very stressed. He desperately wanted a good home, but when he's stressed, he lashes out and he does scratch and he does bite. But so when we first got him, we had to keep him shut in a room by himself and just go in and visit him for a few minutes each day, and then come out again and leave him, and, you know, keep him inside and use a litter tray and what have you. And it did take quite a long time, and to start with I just thought, oh, have we made a mistake? Because I'd go in to go and spend some time with him, and he'd get really stressed really quickly, and he'd bite me, and I was just like, oh, I'm not sure. But he calmed down, and he was allowed the run of the house and stuff. And this was before we got any of the other cats, so he was the first one in the house. But they did say he had lived with other cats. And yeah, he's just, and as the years have gone on, we've had him now for nearly 4 years. We got him when he was 10, and he has calmed down so much. And as the time goes on, he's still calming down more. So he will come now for cuddles, like you've seen. I think I filmed him again this morning, coming for cuddles, and he loves to come and sit on my lap. But he will still bite and scratch if he's stressed. So if you annoy him and he's not wanting it, it has to be completely on his terms. But I quite like that. I like an independent cat that knows what he likes. Anyway, I'm sort of running on now, and I haven't really got anything else to tell you. So I think I'm going to go and do a little bit more of my toy. Let's see if I can finish this, make it look like a foot. I don't know. It doesn't look like a foot, does it, at the moment? I think that's how it's going. I think that's the leg, and I think that's the foot. but I didn't think there was a seam down the centre, so I'm a bit confused. As you can see, I'm knitting it on circulars, even though it's backwards and forwards, knitting it on circulars, partly because I do prefer knitting on circulars, but also because my 3mm straight needles are currently on my floor cushion that I'm making, so they're already in another project. Got to finish that as well. So yeah, then I think basically I need to have a reassess of what I'm going to make next. Whether I'm going to, once I finish this toy, whether I'm going to do some more hats. I think I might do some more chunky hats for my Christmas sale. But I also think I did promise my youngest a jumper in February, and I really do feel a little bit guilty that I haven't started that. And it won't take long. It's an Aran jumper with a yoke with Fair Isle design on it. It won't take long, so I really should just get on with it and do that, because I think they'll really appreciate that. And then I think it's time to make something for myself, because I haven't made myself anything to wear in quite a while, I don't think. No, well, I haven't made anything this year because everything I've made this year has been going towards my sale. So at Christmas, it's an awful lot of concentration on one thing. Anyway, right, I'm going to go before I bore you all to death. So I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.